As the city lights faded behind him, he spotted a figure in the distance standing dangerously close to the road. A girl, her silhouette illuminated by his headlights, stepped right into his path. Jungkook's eyes narrowed, anger flaring hotter. He muttered through the clenched teeth, "Move inside." The words were harsh, but his mood was too full to care about anything or anyone. He cursed without restraint, his mind a storm of fury and frustration, but as the girl drew closer, instinct took over. 2 seconds later, he slammed the brake hard, the car screeching. His heart pounded, anger boiling over. He stared at her through the windshield, a mix of rage and disbelief in his eyes. The car's engine hummed menacingly, but the girl remained frozen, seemingly unaware of the danger. Jungkook gripped the steering wheel, forcing himself to calm down. He didn't want to take out his frustration on someone who might be innocent. But as the girl stood there, unflinching, staring directly into his eyes, his anger flared up again. "What?" he muttered, throwing open the car door and slamming it shut behind him. His steps were quick and forceful as he approached her, his temper barely in check. "What's wrong with you?" he demanded, his voice harsh. She remained silent, her eyes locked onto his with an unsettling. "Are you deaf? I asked you a question," he snapped, grabbing her arm roughly. The contact was meant to shake some sense in her, but instead her body went limp. She collapsed against his chest, unconscious. Jungkook's eyes widened in shock, his grip on her arm loosening. He stared down at her, his mind racing to the process what had just happened. The night's anger and tensions melted away, replacing by confusion and concern. "Shit," he muttered under his breath, looking around the deserted highway. He had no idea who this girl is and why she's here, but he couldn't just leave her like this. Jungkook's mind raced as he carefully lifted the unconscious girl, her head resting against his chest. The biggest question gawning at him: who she is, what the hell is she doing alone on the highway at this hour? He gently placed her in the passenger seat, the anger in his eyes now replaced with mix of confusion and concern. He ran a hand through his hair, glancing around the empty road before getting back into the driver's seat. As he looked at her peaceful, unconscious face, he couldn't help but wonder about the circumstances that led her here. He started the car, his mind unable to shake the fact that its event has been chaotic enough, but this added a layer of mystery he wasn't prepared for. As he drove, his eyes flickered between the road and the girl beside him. His anger had dissipated, replaced by a determination to find out who she is and what had happened. The night is far from over, and it seemed it had more surprises in store for Jungkook. Jungkook's car sped through the gates of his large mansion. He stepped out, carrying the unconscious girl in his tattooed arms. As he walked towards the entrance, the helper rushed to him, their faces full of concern and confusion. They had never seen their master bring a girl home before. Before any of them could voice their questions, Jungkook's cold stare silenced him. His eyes were hard, a clear warning not to pry. "Call the doctor," he commanded, his voice leaving no room for the argument. He turned and walked into the mansion, the girl still in his arms, his pace brisk and determined. The helpers exchanged bewildered glances as they watched him disappear down the hallway. As soon as he was out of the earshot, they began to whisper among themselves. "Did you see that? Who is she?" "I don't know, but I have never seen him like this before." "Do you think he's finally moved on, Wine, madam?" "Maybe, but it's hard to believe. He was so devastated after she left." As the murmurs continued, Jungkook entered one of the guest rooms, laying the girl gently on the plush bed. He took a step back, running a hand through his hair as he observed her. The night's adrenaline still pushing through him. A knock at the door interrupted his thoughts. One of the helpers peeked in hesitant. "The doctor is on his way, sir." Jungkook nodded curtly. "Good." Jungkook sank on the sofa, his eyes locked on the unconscious girl. Despite his thorough examination, he found no visible injuries on her body. The realization of her youth hit him harder. She couldn't have been more than 90 or 20 years old. Running a hand through his hair in frustration, Jungkook stood up, muttering to himself, "Who the hell is she? What would a 19-year-old be doing on the highway at this hour? Did someone abandon her?" The endless questions circled his mind only increased his frustration. Unable to contain it any longer, he stormed out of the room, his voice echoing through the hall. "Where is the doctor? Why hasn't he come yet?" His roar made the helpers' hearts skip a beat. They hurried about, afraid to incur his wrath. At 29-year-old, Jungkook had always commanded respect and fear, but tonight his anger is palpable. One of the braver helpers stepped forward, attempting to reassure him. Sir, the doctor is en route. He will be here shortly. With a curt note, Jungkook turned and made his way to his own room, this time his mind still swirling with unanswered questions. He needed a moment to collect himself before facing the situation again. As he entered his room, the weight of the night event settled heavily on his shoulders, driving him to seek solace in the quiet confines of his personal space now. After a while, the sound of hurried footsteps echoed through the mansion as the doctor finally arrived. He was led quickly to the room where the girl lay unconscious on the bed. Jungkook stood nearby, a hand casually tucked into his pocket, his face a mask of stoic concern. The helpers gathered around, their eyes. The doctor sat down his back and began his examination, checking the girl's pulse and breathing, carefully assessing her condition. Jungkook watched intently, his frustration barely held in check. After a few tense minutes, the doctor straightened up, turning to Jungkook. Doctor, everything seems fine. Her breathing is normal and there are no visible wounds. It appears she fainted from the stress or exhaustion. I have administered some medication. Jungkook's eyes narrowed slightly, processing the information. Stress or execution, you say, the doctor nodded. Yes, it is uncommon. Sometimes the body just shuts down when it's overwhelmed. She should regain consciously shortly. Jungkook glanced at the girl, then back at the doctor. And there's nothing else? No other signs of harm or distress? No, nothing else. She just needs rest. Jungkook nodded, a slight wave of relief washing over him. The doctor finished his examination, packed up his bag, and left the room. The helpers began to disperse, their whispers filling the hallway. Jungkook lingered with the bed for a moment longer, his eyes fixed on the girl's peaceful face. He hoped that by morning she would wake up and provide answer to the question that plagued him. With a final glance at her, Jungkook sighed and turned away. He left the guest room, his footsteps echoing softly in a quiet mansion. As he stepped into the hallway, spotted one of his most trusted helpers. Listen, he said, his voice low but firm. When she wakes up, call me immediately. I don't care what time it is. The helper nodded quickly, understanding the urgency in Jungkook's tone. Yes, sir, I'll make sure you're informed the moment she regains unconsciousness. Satisfied, Jungkook went to his room. He shut the door and leaned against it for a moment, running a hand through his hair. The anger and frustration of the evening were fading, replaced by deep exhaustion. He walked to his bed, sat down, and took off his jacket. His tattooed arm seemed to mirror his chaotic thoughts. He lay down and started to stare at the ceiling, hoping sleep would bring some clarity. Why in POV? I woke up slowly, my head feeling heavy and my body weak. As my eyes fluttered open, I found myself in a large, lavish room. The ceiling was high with intricate moldings and the furniture looked expensive and antique. Shock washed over me and I sat up abruptly, my heart pounding. Where am I? How did I get here? As I tried to make sense of my surroundings, a door creaked open and a woman stepped in. I flinched, not expecting anyone. She noticed my reaction and gave me a gentle smile. You woke up, she said softly. I nodded slowly, feeling scared and disoriented. Where am I? I managed to ask, my voice trembling. The woman approached me cautiously, her demeanor kind and reassuring. Please don't be afraid, you are safe here. She paused, seeing the fear in my eyes. Wait here, I need to go inform the boss that you are awake. Before I could respond, she left the room, leaving the door slightly ajar. I took a deep breath, trying to calm my racing heart. Slowly, I stood up from the bed, my legs shaky. The room was luxurious, unlike anything I had ever seen. Velvet drapes, plush carpets, and chandelier that sparkled in that soft night. I walked over to a large window looking out at the vast, well manicured gardens below. It is beautiful, but it didn't answer any of my questions. Who is this boss and why am I here? I heard footsteps approaching and I turned back towards the door, bracing myself for whoever about to enter. Panic surged through as my mind raced. What if everything weird happening to me is connected to this? My heart pounded faster as I made a split second decision. I need to get out of here. I bolted from the room, my bare feet slapping against the cold floor. As I dashed down the hallway, I abruptly collided with something solid. I stumbled back. My breath caught in my throat. He's staring straight into my eyes, his gaze intense and unreadable. Fear gripped me. He had a commanding presence, his dark eyes piercing into mine, his arms covered in intricate tattoos that seemed to tell stories of their own. His jaw set and his dark hair fell slightly over his forehead. Before I could react, he spoke, his voice low and firm. Where do you think you are going? I swallowed hard, unable to find my voice. I glanced around, feeling trapped. Who are you? Why am I here? I should ask, who are you? His voice was cold, almost detached. I felt quite unable to explain the bizarre incidents that had been happening to me lately. I don't remember anything. I began hesitantly. People around me say I behave weird sometimes. It's really scary, and after a while, I faint. He narrowed his eyes slightly, studying me. What were you doing alone on the highway at this hour? He asked coldly, making my heart race even more. I couldn't answer that question either. How could I tell him that I had been kicked out of the orphanage, accused of trying to kill my roommate? I don't believe it myself, don't understand why they said it, but it had left me homeless and desperate. Tears welled up in my eyes as I realized the depth of my situation, but I controlled them, knowing that he likely wouldn't care about my story. Instead, I looked up at him and said the only thing that came to my mind, something he probably didn't want to hear. I'm hungry. Jungkook POV. I was informed in middle of the night that the girl regained her consciousness. I immediately stood up from my bed and came out of the room, but then I heard footsteps racing down the hall. I turned just in time to see her sprinting towards me, panic written all over her face. Before I could react, she collided with my chest, tumbling back, her wide eyes locked into mine, filled with fear and confusion. What do you think you are going? I demanded, my voice cold and firm. She swallowed hard, clearly frightened but trying to stand her ground. I don't know what's happening. Where am I? But I should ask, who are you? I said, trying to steady my voice. She hesitated but stayed quiet, spoke in a shaky voice. I narrowed my eyes, studying her more closely. There was something deeply troubling about her situation. Where were you going alone on the highway at this hour? I asked, my tone icy, demanding answers. She looked away, tears welling up in her eyes. She seemed lost in the thought for a moment, then looked back at me, her voice barely a whisper. I am hungry. For a moment, her simple, honest statement caught me off guard. The coldness in my eyes flickered with something else, curiosity. Perhaps I sighed, turning to the female helper who had been standing nearby. Get her something to eat, I ordered, my voice firm but softer than before. The helper nodded and gently took her arm. Come with me, we'll get you something. I stood in the doorway watching her eat. The way she devoured the food surprised me. It was as if she hadn't eaten in days. She finished everything in front. Her innocent eyes would meet mine, only to quickly dart away. Her small body didn't seem capable of eating so much, yet she cleaned the plate entirely. I saw a brief look of satisfaction cross her face, but it didn't last long as I took a step forward and cleared my throat. What's your name? I asked, my voice steady and cold. She flinched at the sound of my voice but then managed to answer. Ryan. My name is Ryan. Hearing that name, I felt a shock of shock. For a moment, I was stunned. That name had a deep connection to my past, one that I didn't want to revisit. The helpers around me exchanged glances, sensing my reactions, but I quietly masked my emotions. Where do you live? Tell me your address. My man will drop you there. I said, trying to keep my voice even. There are many people named Ryan in Korea, I reminded myself. It is nothing special, nothing to get worked up about. But still, I didn't want to be reminded of the past, even if there are enough Ryan in this world, but I don't want any of them around me. She looked down, hesitating before mumbling, I don't have a place. They kicked me out. I narrowed my eyes and asked, who kicked you out? The orphanage, she whispered, tears brimming in her eyes. I took a deep breath, my mind racing. This girl is more complicated than I had anticipated. All right, I said, finally trying to keep my voice calm. You can stay here for now, but we'll figure this out. She nodded, her eyes filled with a mixture of relief and fear. I turned to the helpers, make sure she is comfortable, and keep an eye on her. As I walked away, I couldn't shake the feeling that her arrival is more than just a coincidence. But for now, I have to focus on keeping everything under control. At night, the name Ryan echoed in my mind, a relentless whisper that refused to let me sleep. I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, my thoughts consumed by the memories of Ryan. I had once loved deeply, the one who had been everything to me and whose loss had left an unhealable wound in my heart. Even now, despite everything, that was why I can't bear to have anyone around me with that name. It's too painful. The mystery girl have to leave my house. The sooner the better. Her presence is constant reminder of the past I'm trying to escape. Frustration boiling over, I reached for my phone and called Namjoon. Namjoon, I need you at my house right now. I said, my voice low but urgent. What happened, Jungkook? Namjoon asked, sensing the tension in my voice. Just get here. I need you to find out everything about this girl staying here. I replied, hanging up before he could ask more questions. Minutes later, Namjoon arrived, his expression a mix of concern and curiosity. What's going on, Jungkook? He asked, and I took a deep breath, trying to steady my racing thoughts. That girl I brought in, her name is Wyan. Namjoon's eyes widened slightly. He knew the significance of that name. I can't have anyone with that name around me. It's too much. Namjoon nodded slowly, understanding the weight of my words. Alright, I'll find out everything I can about her. Thank you, I muttered, running a hand through my hair. I need to know why she was on that highway, why she was alone, and if she is connected to anything dangerous. Namjoon gave me a reassuring look. I'll take care of it, Jungkook. Try to get some rest. After Namjoon left, I kept sitting at the bar, pouring myself another glass of wine. The liquid is the only thing that could give my mind some resemblance of peace right now. The memories, the moments I spent with my wine were all too much. I sipped slowly, trying to let the alcohol numb my thoughts. But then, out of the corner of my eye, I saw her. The girl from the room she had come out, Alice wandering down the hallway, her steps. Do you need anything? I asked, my voice breaking the silence. She didn't respond, didn't even look at me. It is as if she hadn't heard me at all. I watched her intently as she moved further down the hallway. My eyes widened in realization she's heading towards the one place she absolutely cannot go. I stood up immediately, the urgency coursing through me. Hey, stop right there. I yelled, my voice echoing off the wall. She didn't stop. She didn't even hesitate, cursing under I heard a chilling, creepy laugh that made my cold blood. My eyes widened in shock as she spoke in a horrific tone. She turned around, her face twisted with a sinister smile. The sound of her laughter echoed off the walls, amplifying the noise of the moment. I stumbled back, my head down in my chest, only from that escaped palace. The Queen Hano.